Hi, this is Phil Newman. I'm the editor-in-chief of Longevity.Technology, and I'm delighted to say that I'm joined by Dr. Frank Lipman today, who's the founder of 1111 Wellness Center in New York, and also the New York Times bestselling author of 7 books about aging and treating health in a holistic way. So thanks for joining us today, Dr. Lipman.
Thanks for having me.
And great. So Frank, if you don't mind just telling us a little bit about yourself, that would be wonderful.
Sure. So I qualified as a doctor in South Africa in 1979. It's a long time ago. And already then I realized the shortcomings of Western medicine. So I started exploring alternatives to add to what I was doing. Western medicine is great for crisis care, but not particularly good at keeping people healthy or treating chronic disease. So I started exploring many years ago different ways of helping people, and over the years then I became immigrated to the United States. I became a board certified internist, but all at the same time I started studying acupuncture, nutrition, meditation, and all other modalities to complement what I was doing. And then in the probably late 80s, I started practicing what we now call functional medicine, which is the perfect blend of the science of Western medicine, the biochemistry of Western medicine, with the philosophy of improving function and creating balance of Chinese medicine. It's a wonderful operating system for what I call good medicine now.
So Frank, let's talk about your work as you are looking at helping your patients or your clients with the supplements that are out there in the marketplace now. We're talking today about NMN-C from Elevant, and we're very aware that there are clinicians around the world starting to recommend supplements such as Elevant for their clients and patients. So how do practitioners work on the right brand to be working with?
It's a great question because it's very difficult. There's so many supplement brands out there. I use many different supplements. To know which is the right one can be very difficult. Why I've chosen to use NMN in this big market now of what we call NAD precursors is because I've been using it myself and with my patients. And I know the guy who started it, and I've seen the research. So putting all of this together, the fact that Elevant, all they do is make NMN. It's not really a supplement company. It grew out of this French guy's obsession with health and keeping his father healthy and seeing how NMN worked, and then developing this product as opposed to a supplement company that has lots of supplements, and NMN and is possibly helpful. So I've seen the research, I've used it myself, I believe in this particular product. So that's why I use NMN-C from Elevant.
Very good. Well, as you say, there are a lot of backstories for many of us in terms of why we're all involved in the longevity industry now. So let's talk a little bit about the nutritional science. What's key when maximizing health span, do you feel, and what's the role of NMN or Elevant's NMN-C in supporting our health spans?
So it's important to realize that, when I talk about increasing health span, it's not just about supplements. It's about, improving sleep, working on stress, exercise. Diet is really important. Supplements are one small part, albeit an important part, but supplements are just one part of what I recommend for improving health span. But supplements are really helpful here because there's this concept of cellular health, and this idea that NAD, or nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide, which is one of the most abundant and crucial coenzymes in every living cell in your body, it's an essential helper molecule in chemical reactions in your cell. And it sort of turns food into energy, it powers cellular processes that keep you alive. So this particular coenzyme is crucial to cellular health, and NMN happens to be a precursor to NAD. It's interesting, in Chinese medicine I learned about this concept of qi, or energy. To me, NAD is sort of the Western the equivalent of qi in Chinese medicine. NAD is what powers your cellular processes. So NMN happens to be a really good precursor to increase NAD in the cells. And we all know now that NAD decreases precipitously after the age of 40. By that, actually, it starts decreasing in your 20s and 30s. In fact, by the age of 45, you've got half the amount of NAD that you had in your 20s. So one of the key aspects of staying healthy is to increase this NAD level in the body.
So let's talk about NMN, and obviously as a precursor for NAD, there are a number of NMN supplements on the market now, as you're aware, and Elevant is a uniquely synthesized form of NMN called NMN-C. So what do you feel sets this apart in terms of the NMN to NMN-C?
Right. So, to be quite honest, I was using nicotinamide riboside on myself and patients before I discovered NMN. And then when I learned about NMN and explored where I could get it from, I was attracted to Elevant, first of all, because they attached to the Buck Institute. They co-produced it with the Buck Institute, which is probably the primary place for anti-aging. And I looked at the research, and they're one of the few companies, if not the only company, that have done human studies. And I looked at all their studies, and I really delved deeply into looking into their sourcing, who's developing it, and started using it, and felt the difference in myself. My patients felt the difference. So, a little bit of nutritional science plus clinical experience made me feel that this is what I'm going to use personally and with my patients.
Understood. And you look good for 67. That's for sure.
Right.
Well, that's great. So let's, Frank, talk a little bit about immunity, because of course there's a lot of concern around immunity of our bodies now. Pandemics obviously aside, there's just general immunity as well. How can supplementation with NMN-C help boost immunity?
Well, I think, what's interesting is our immune system weakens or is not as good as you get older. I mean, that we know that. Now, is that correlated with a decrease in NAD in the cells? I think it's important. To me, NAD, once again, is that equivalent of qi in Chinese medicine. It's your basic cell, or that's a basic chemical process, or it's a basic molecule that your cells need to function properly, and that decreases as you get older. So NAD, increasing NAD is going to help many body functions because it's working at a cellular level. So that cellular level is going to affect heart health, it's going to affect energy creation, it's going to affect inflammation prevention, it's going to affect immunity, brain health, insulin sensitivity. It's going to affect all these issues downstream. So I see NAD or NMN as a precursor for NAD, as this upstream molecule that can affect so many issues downstream, immunity being one of them.
Very good. Well, I guess, Frank, we wanted just to ask you also about your own regimes. Being such a progressed practitioner, what does your morning look like? What's your morning regime like?
So I wake up, and usually most mornings, the first thing I do is meditate. I'll usually meditate for about 20 minutes. Depends when I am. It depends if I'm working or not. After that, I'll either, if I'm not working, do some weights or go for a bike ride. Depends what I try. Exercise, at least 4, 5, 6 times a week, especially in the summer. And then I don't eat. I fast, so I don't eat till usually about midday. And then, I try eat a low sugar diet. I eat 2 meals a day. I'm quite obsessive about my sleep. I try to go to sleep early. I usually go to sleep around 9 o'clock and wake up around 5 o'clock in the morning. So once you're getting older, you can't mess around with your health. So I take these basic lifestyle measures very seriously. The sleep, my exercise, my diet, dealing with stress. I think they're all important. And then I'm luckily, I've got a grandson. I spend as much time as I can with my grandson. I think, spending time with people you love and surrounding yourself with some type of community is important. Try to spend time in nature. So I practice basically what I preach, because you can't mess around as you get older.
Very good. Well, Dr. Frank Lipman, thank you so much for joining us today. It's been a real pleasure.
Thanks. Thank you for having me, and good luck with everything.